Hey everyone, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast. Don't worry, we're here. You've made it. You didn't miss an episode. Maybe I was just late putting it out. I don't know. I have a bad time on recording things. But don't worry, no FOMO. You've got a podcast to listen to today. And that is a joke that maybe will make sense and not be funny here in about 5 minutes. Anyways, what's going on, Andrew?
Hold on, nothing. I feel Darcy wanted to join the podcast with us, but she only said one thing.
Yeah. I was like, that's too early for anybody to be here yet. There was one morning that Shay had picked like the 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. delivery time.
Yes.
And they showed up at the 4 a.m. And she didn't tell me. So we both wake up to just Darcy going crazy at somebody at the front door. And we're like, who is at our house? Honey, grab the gun. I don't know, like the bow
the water
staff?
gun, the bow staff,
like,
the nunchucks.
Like, are we? Is this it? Is this where we die? And like Shay, it's too early for her to even remember what could be.
Yeah.
So, because you're just assuming, well, none of them are going to show up at 4 a.m. That's silly. We choose 4 to 8. It's probably like 7 or 8 when they get here. No, it was 4 a.m.
I do that 4 to 8 a lot, and it is usually the 4, or closer to that 4 o'clock.
But they don't bring it all the way up to your house, though.
They do.
Well, every time I house sit for you, they always like leave it at the gate, and I have to go freaking bringing them all in.
There are
and then
some
you're
lazy
always
ones.
You're ordering so many packages when you're out of town. Like I'm seriously like, are you guys doing this while on vacation?
That's my wife.
Knowing that Dusty will bring it into the house for you.
Yes, she does. I swear she does.
So it's like, what is going on?
I see all these deliveries while we're gone. I'm like, Lisa, what are you doing? Nobody's there.
Oh, Dusty's there. He'll bring it in.
Exactly. I left candy and cookies out for him. He's fine. Literally what she says, by the way. That's why she does it.
I still get paid like I'm, like
a child?
Like a college kid.
Yeah.
Oh, there's food in the fridge.
Yeah.
It's like drinks, just take whatever.
When we do go on vacation, Lisa makes sure to stockpile for you.
Yeah, I know that. And then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not doing the diet thing this week.
Yeah.
Because I'm house sitting. I'm here 3 times a day. But yeah, it's pretty funny. That's what we were too old to move was one of the jokes because
yes.
I don't have any friends that I can just pay with pizza and beer. And, like that. Yeah, I need more now to be able to move. Anyways.
But so kind of speaking of house sitting, and then we already brought up Darcy. I went to the fair this week, and they have these trick dogs, really well trained. They fetch frisbees and catch and jump really high.
Could have been you, Darcy, but
kind of gave me FOMO. I kind of want a dog again.
Oh no!
But it's really hard for me to replace Suki. So, and that's what it keeps coming back to is I feel like I'm replacing her, and I don't want to do that. So. Haven't got one yet, but if I do, my next dog will fetch frisbees and jump really high.
Yeah, I know what you meant. There was like this gap between Samson and Darcy, and it just happened one day. Like it wasn't like we got to the point where we were ready for another dog or would be open to another dog, but we weren't gonna force another dog into our lives. And then I don't know, something happened. Social media,
Yeah.
post a dog in a shelter, and then we decide, all right, we're going to the shelter. And it wasn't even her that we saw the picture of. It was some other dog.
That's awesome.
But that dog was already taken for it because that's how social media works. But
yeah, so while there, they had these dogs doing this how high they can jump contest. And there's this itty bitty dog, like maybe stood a foot tall. And then there was a dog a little bit smaller than Darcy, but still a good sized dog. Anyways, yeah, that itty bitty dog out jumped the big dog. Mm-hmm. It was crazy to watch.
We used to have Darcy jump through like hula hoops and stuff.
I remember that.
Yes. That was part of like the training, because we did a pretty good training with her. She has her citizens test.
Yeah, you used Pam, right?
Yeah, we used Pam.
That's right.
And so she trains a lot of, cattle dogs?
The cattle dogs now, but before it was Hollywood dogs she trained.
Gotcha. Or sheep herding dogs? What kind of dog is that?
No, she does collie, or not collies.
Border collie.
Yeah, it is collies. But yeah, they're cattle dogs.
Yeah, and so she's used to training them. So she was really great with Darcy, and so he basically sent Darcy off to her when she was a baby.
Yes.
A little bit mini boot camp for the next 2 years was a weekly, her training us how to train Darcy. And it's really just us keeping on a schedule. Like, if you're going to train her to halt, for instance, don't let her get out of that habit. If she doesn't halt, you make sure that she halts before, don't be like, it's like parenting a child. Like, once they get away with something, they're going to keep trying to get away with it.
And keep trying to take it further each time.
Exactly. Right. And so what you need to do was training you as a person that you're going to be okay taking 30 minutes longer on a walk to make sure that she's obeying you the whole time, so that later on, she just obeys you the whole time.
Right.
Especially when she has her I'm working collar on. When she has that on, then she knows, like, I need to listen the first time he says, right. When I say leave it and she doesn't have that collar on, she might still try to stick around a little bit longer. And I have to say it a third time, But
see, kind of what I like about the fact that we use the same trainer is we know all the same commands, the same hand motions, the same everything. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's, I don't know. You haven't had me watch Darcy many times, but one of the times it was just so natural and she listened so well.
Right.
Just even from me doing the signals.
And that's one of the things when we had like somebody house sit for us and it was, she doesn't know those commands like us. So then I'm like, well, make sure you have the collar on every time you take her out, that kind of thing, because at least the collar, you can beep it. And that is the leave it is the beep.
Gotcha.
Or the or whatever. So, but yeah, you could just say it. Yeah. And the verbal command will be enough for her to listen.
So no FOMO there.
Well, you did have FOMO.
I mean, I did have FOMO, but not FOMO.
You had FOMO at the fair.
Yes, I did.
Hey, that's the FOMO at the fair. That's the thing.
Hey, so I had FOMO again this week. Man, I've had FOMO twice this week. That's weird.
I think the older we get, the more FOMO we have somewhat. They call that a midlife crisis.
Oh. I mean,
it's a version of FOMO, or fear of I missed out, or maybe it was, what was the other one? It was
JOMO, joy
of missing out. Okay, well,
and we're getting ahead of ourselves. So let me tell you about my other FOMO experience. We just sent out a team of missionaries to go to Peru from our church this week. And you know me, I've already been to Peru a couple times, and I've always felt this tug on my heart and kind of this calling to serve the people of Peru. At one point, I thought it was to be a full-time missionary there. I have since realized I feel more now it's just short-term missions there and back. I really, really did put a lot of prayer and thought into this, and I kind of felt led to go, but at the same time, it wasn't that overwhelming feeling I've had in the past. And so I just kind of brushed it aside. But then I saw them at the airport and them leaving. Mm-hmm. And then I saw a picture last night of their first night in Peru. And man, yeah, I'm really having FOMO right now. Feeling like I should have went, like I should be there. But you know what? I'm not. So God will use me here somehow.
Yeah, I saw a video of Johnny and Brittany leading worship stuff.
Yes.
In Spanish.
Yes, I saw that.
Michael talked to me a little bit about wanting me to do music stuff next year, and now I'm learning it has to be in Spanish. Like, I don't even remember the songs in English.
So it doesn't have to be in Spanish. That they just went above and beyond, because when I've been there, we've done everything in English, and they still eat it up. They love it.
Yeah.
And
well, it made me, when she was singing it in Spanish, she kind of sounded like she was rapping a little bit. The way, maybe it's like the way she's pronouncing those words better. Yeah. Like, it sounded like she was rapping.
Yeah, and maybe she just had to keep it in rhythm, which may have made it sound like rap as well.
Well, I've done worship in Spanish before. We've had mission trips in Mexico.
Right.
Done the open the eyes, the abre mi so Cristo. Like, I've learned those.
See? You can do those again.
Yeah, just bring them back, baby.
Peru is still a Spanish-speaking country, so you don't have to learn new songs. Just learn those again.
Yeah. So you have FOMO on Peru. How many times have you gone physically to Peru?
Twice. The first time I was there, man, I want to say, I think it was a 2-week trip, maybe a 3-week trip. For some reason, I also thought it was a 1-month trip. And what I think it was it was either a 2 or 3 week trip. And while I was there, I called home to ask if I could stay longer. And I don't think I did. I think I still came home at the normal time, but I don't recall. That was the first. That was 2003.
And your wife was like, yes.
No, that was 2003. So I was with mom and dad
That was
still.
a long time ago.
Yes. And then the last time I went, I think it was like 2016, maybe 15. We had a family in our church that felt a calling to be full-time missionaries to Peru. So I was asked to do an exploratory trip. So I made a connection with a missionary down there, went down there, hung out with him for a week, did a lot of street ministry. Well, that was actually one of my favorite mission trips because one of the days we went to a bakery and bought the entire bakery out of all their bread and baked goods, and then stood out on the corner and just gave it away while he preached that Jesus is the bread of life.
Was that one that's like not a pre-planned mission trip? You kind of just went on your own, right?
Yes.
You just like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with this guy down here. We're going to do some mission work.
No, not really. It was an exploratory trip for them, for that family that felt called. And so, yes, it wasn't pre-planned because I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know this missionary at all.
But you know what I mean? Like some trips you go on mission trips and it's like.
And it's very planned out.
To the
like
minute.
this,
yeah. Hey, we're going to, and it's always, we're going to do vacation Bible stuff from this day and this day. And we're going to have this little work project over here. And
yeah, so it was one of those trips. We ended up going to a Mother Teresa hospital down there, which is a hospital that when Mother Teresa was a nun in Peru, in Lima, she started it. An orphanage and hospital. So we went there one day, did ministry. We obviously did the bread and bakery, street preaching. We did more street preaching. We did 2 revivals at some churches. We did a VBS at his church. So yeah, it was just filled with a lot of different things, but correct, zero plan when I got there. When I landed, I didn't even know where I was staying the night.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I was wondering if there's any correlation with that kind of mission trip and how that was the favorite you've ever been on. Because, versus like going on a mission trip and you're going through a mission trip schedule.
Right, and it's so structured and tight schedule. Right.
Yeah, and that you're kind of more open to some crazy opportunities when you don't have.
I would say yes.
I don't know.
I would definitely say that there's
just
correlation.
A question. I don't know if there's any truth to that thought process, but. Just interesting to me.
I mean, I would say 100% yes, because you're in that trip. We're just going where God took us. And honestly, my missionary, didn't have a day-to-day plan. He kind of knew a generic schedule. He knew that later in the week we had 2 revivals to do. But each night we'd say, hey, what are we going to do tomorrow? And he'd give me some options, and I'd be like, all right, let's go to Mother Teresa's orphanage and help out there. So yeah, we never had a day-to-day plan.
Well, FOMO is driven a lot by just social comparison. So we constantly are measuring ourselves up against others on what they're doing. And so let's just kind of go through some FOMO, maybe some reasons that you might have FOMO, maybe some things that can kind of cause that. I know for me, a lot of times what FOMO is not as much more about like the missing out, or it's not as much about gaining the experience. It's more of just like not like what is the word? What am I thinking of? I hate missing out more on the Peru trip. We'll just say that. I would hate missing out on that trip more than gaining the experience of that trip.
Gotcha.
Or gaining like the accolade of the thing that brings, gaining the stories. I just hate more of like just missing out on the being a part of it, I guess, more than I would actually, because I'm not like me. I'm not called to missions in that way. So for you hate missing out because maybe we can go into something else where there's a lack, or maybe you're missing out because you should be doing it,
right? But
you're not doing it. So then you're like, is my FOMO a result of disobedience?
Yes.
And then for me, it's like, is my FOMO just a result of
you didn't get the T-shirt?
Yeah, or I just didn't get the stories with other
right.
people. Now they're going to have inside jokes and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
but it's not necessarily I wanted to do this thing because I'm called to do this thing. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of how I think that's an introverted take on it. You know, is like on Friday nights, like me and I, you know, we would love to be a part of this, or we didn't go to the fair this year with our house church. They were going to a concert, and it was like, I don't have a fear of missing out on the concert because I loved being at home that day.
Right.
But, you know, like what if they had a story or something funny happen? Like we wouldn't be a part of it. I don't know. So it's just that kind of situation. Like Like, I don't care about missing the fair. I don't care about missing the concert. That meant nothing to me. It was more of the other stuff that goes along with it.
Which is typically, I mean, you pretty much said the definition of FOMO there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah. Missing out on the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you kind of just jumped right into it. You didn't even explain our topic today. So.
Our topic is basically your FOMO.
Yeah, spiritual FOMO. Any other causes you could think of?
Well, I just know that, like, I get caught with FOMO a lot when it comes to purchasing things. There's a lot of like limited time offers and limited time opportunities. Like Peru, for instance, is a limited time situation. We go once a year. Right. So it's like, if I don't do it this time, it could be a full year till maybe that opportunity comes up again through this church or whatever, instead of just going yourself again.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we can't go on our own.
Yeah, that's silly. Nobody then, yeah. But that's silly for me, not for you, not for somebody who's called. But, so like that scarcity that kind of builds with, that FOMO kind of builds with scarcity, making us feel more like we need it urgently, we need it now. It's definitely, when it comes to marketing, it's something that I try to use in my ad language a lot. Limited time offer.
Yes.
We used to do discovery calls. Like we only accept 5 discovery calls a month. That's not true.
Right. You're saying this after your 100th discovery call that month.
We only accepting 5 more calls this month. So if you want to get a free audit of your website, so like we would do things like that all the time.
So you lie.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it is a lie. Just think about all the 25% offers that you get.
Yes.
Yeah, and the countdown bar at the top, counting down. That's the really funny thing is some of those websites, if you refresh that countdown bar, starts over. It's all just there to like make your brain hit that dopamine effect that it needs this thing real quick, and it's
praise on that FOMO.
Yeah, I think if they want to promote this, if we want to just bounce around this a little bit on some of the stuff we wrote down, but like with the church, when it comes to Peru, the way to get more people to sign up for Peru next year is to come back and take signups immediately, because everybody like you that's had FOMO can commit now,
right,
and have to deal with it later.
Yeah. And so normally in the past at other churches, when you come back from these trips, those people get up on stage and they talk about that trip, and then that increases that. And then you're right, have signups right away, because that is going to make people commit earlier. Now, I bet majority of those would drop off in a year, but you might get 1 or 2 to stick around, and that's an extra person or 2 to go on that trip with you.
Right. And we do that in youth quite a bit when it comes to like coming back from church camp or stuff like
You're
that.
Right. Yeah.
We'll do that in youth, but it does kind of maybe more becomes a house church thing. If somebody in your house church went to a group, they would talk, but it's not going to be interrupting the Sunday morning service as much. We might give them a quick recognition or something like that, but it's not like an open testimony night. We used to do those Sunday nights when we had church on Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday nights.
Yes.
We used to have like Sunday night testimony night.
I remember.
And those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I was like, pastor's like, that's great, because man, trying to do 2 different series at the same time, I just would love a break.
So one thing I wanted to also talk about with FOMO is there's this theory called regret theory.
Okay.
And that is the fearing you're going to regret of not doing it. And that's kind of where I might also be in that aspect of the regret theory versus FOMO. But they're both closely linked, according to psychologists. And listen, I didn't do a whole lot of research. Actually, I did very, very little. But that is essentially it's anticipatory regret. So, like, they're gone right now. The mission team is gone right now, and I'm anticipating that regret when they return. So it's kind of all part of that regret theory. And we all hate regret, but,
Regrets. No regrets.
No regrets.
I was trying to think of...
Yeah, so we're suffering more in imagination than in reality. Now, in this case, with a calling to Peru, or for Peru, I'm not going to say to, I'm going to say for Peru.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I'm on the fence. Is it regret theory or is it FOMO?
Do you think with your calling that it's more you being there, or could you be a better mobilizer? Sorry, this is way off topic.
Man,
but,
that's a great question.
wow,
I've never thought about that.
But you just saying that, like Michael goes on these things, but he's a great mobilizer.
Yeah.
So his is like both and.
Right.
But I was just wondering with you, like, you've mobilized people, you mobilize projects, you're pretty good at getting things done.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be always by your hands. You rely too much on yourself to like finish those projects. Like I'll do that sometimes, like on Wednesdays, especially like with the worship side of things. Like I know that I can lead any song that ends up at rehearsal, failing because of just people being too new when it comes to trying to lead a song, maybe not as confident as they think or whatever. So like I know that I can finish this project by myself, but I'm giving you an opportunity to do it, basically. Yeah, but are you the same way where, have you ever thought about that? Like maybe being
I have
more
not.
of a
And that
mobilizer?
is definitely something I'm going to start praying about, because I've had this conversation 1,000 times with our pastor and different pastors and other people, even my wife, about I know I have a calling for Peru, but like I said, it's not to Peru. And it could be something like that, mobilizing teams to Peru.
Mm-hmm.
But now when I'm there, God works in amazing ways and does amazing things.
He always does.
Right. You're right. He always does, though, whether I'm there or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's why I can tell you with 100% certainty, I'm not called to be a missionary there, but I have felt short-term callings, so like week or 2 week trips there. Yes, I could do those. Definitely something I'm gonna pray about, Dusty, because I've never thought about that.
Well, that's what I'm here for, Andrew. I'm here for helping you.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner, Dusty?
No, I literally, you said something that just triggered it in my brain of like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be there. You're just yeah. Anyway, so
well, because that exploratory trip was about immobilizing, and that was my best trip ever.
And connecting people,
right?
And we're from now on, because Rusty's not our senior pastor at our church. He's
not our pastor anymore.
He's just going to be my life pastor.
Right.
Is how
Absolutely.
I'll refer to him, because something that he has said all the time that would piss me off is like, when you have an idea for a ministry, like I've had the idea for the gaming ministry, and he's like, great, do it.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I feel with your situation.
Which many times as he said that, Nike needs to sue him.
You're right. He's like, let me know once you get that ministry going, Dusty.
Speaking of Rusty, he retired as our senior pastor on Friday. So I saw him on Monday and asked him how being an average Joe was. He said, so far so good. But it had been less than 12 hours.
Yeah. Well, on his last Sunday, I had said something because I was upset, like coming off the stage. So like coming off the stage before we go, switch for the pastor to come out. So come off the stage, and I'm just talking about like, because I didn't do the prayer team come forward talk, but it's like because Kyle's been up there for 5 minutes talking about prayer team and leading like that part of it. Like all he had to do is, as we worship, our prayer team's going to come forward. But no, he has to have this hard stop, and he's going to say, we're going to continue in worship, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm supposed to come up and say, as we continue in worship, our prayer team will come. You know what I mean? And it's just like, why can't the guy just do it he led, like, because we're a praying church. And so
as he did his 15-minute talk.
Yeah, it was more than 5 minutes. It was definitely like closer to 10 minutes. It was long. But it's like we have 5 prayer prompts and people pray out loud for those things, that kind of thing. And so I was just like, why didn't he just do it? And then Rusty's like, well, instruction is a part of worship. And I was like, I am glad that this is the last day I have to listen to. No, and he's like, I ain't going to stop telling you what to do. I was like, I know, please don't, because nobody else will. So it's like, I was like, oh, this is the last day that I have to put up with this kind of. Oh, man. Good night. All right. So utilizing FOMO, how can a church utilize FOMO, you think? We just talked about like coming back from a mission trip. Right. How about just on the week-to-week basis? How can we bring FOMO for Jesus?
Well, I mean, I feel we do that with our announcement videos. We do teasers. Sometimes we do funny things. You get Michael and Gatlin out in that parking lot doing some funny video, and it makes people want to show up to the event.
Yeah.
And so that's really how our church is already utilizing FOMO or as something, or, that famous tagline, you have to be there, or you had to have been there, because now that's going to trigger, if I don't go, I'm going to miss out on the inside jokes. I'm going to miss out on forming those friendships and those
You have
bonds.
the "if you know, you know" captions
Yes.
on social media. And you're like,
Yes.
shut up, just tell us, brah.
For real. Otherwise, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't care about knowing.
But that's kind of how you use FOMO.
Okay.
To expand your ministries or your events, or that's how our church does it.
I think trying to remember, like back in my youth pastor days, we tried to utilize a lot of positive peer pressure when it came to like getting people there on Sundays and kind of like that. Like one of the things we do different now is the movement youth ministry is all like, for the most part, adult leadership led. Every small group leader, everything is adults over the age of 18.
Right.
I think they are going to move into bringing like some high schoolers to like co-lead and stuff. But we used to do, I think this is like one of our secret sauces that Rusty and I kind of did over at Crash and Ground Zero and all those, but was that we had like the small groups. We had like a fantasy draft. Rusty and I would do like a
yes.
football fantasy style draft where we would sit down and like, all right, we have this many kids. We want to try to keep the groups at like 10 per, 12 per. So we'll start with our main leaders, and then we
draft the students.
We drafted the students for them.
Right.
We actually did it one time with
the students,
with
or the leaders,
the
peer
leaders,
yeah.
Because ideally what we were doing was like, we're creating a culture where you get points for attendance, you get points for offering, you get points for bringing your Bible to church, you get points for bringing a friend.
Yes.
And so it's like you had to like, and then like the top team got to go on a trip in the summer,
so like Frontier City or
paid for.
Yeah.
Like we would pay
That's
for
right.
that, and then like the second
team
place
would get pizza or something like that.
Well, the second place thing I think could go on that trip, but they had to pay for it.
Oh, that's right.
And then third place was like a pizza party or something.
Right.
But it was like gamifying spiritual
Right.
disciplines of bringing your Bible, tithing, attending. And then it was gamifying like evangelism, where it's like, hey, you bring a friend, like you get this many points, and you get a point. You got them like for 3 weeks. If you brought them 3 times, you got points every time you brought them. But after that, like we're considering them coming. You know?
Right.
And 0 adults led with that. It was just Rusty and I. I mean,
Right.
we had adult leaders that would
Right.
like oversee it, but they
Yes.
were not involved in
Leading.
these groups.
Right.
These weren't discussion groups. These were different. These were more of like community groups that they would break out together, and then we'd come back for worship.
Kind of like life groups.
We didn't really do the discussion group thing like we do at our church, or I led the smaller discussion groups when I led some stuff at Life Church as well. So like they do the same kind of model that we do now. Anyway, but we gamifying, like bringing that. So like that was a way we did it for youth, because then it just made it this competition thing, and it was fun, and the groups kind of changed every semester. We had new leaders with new people in their groups. They couldn't, like, there was a dynasty rules when it comes to fantasy drafting, where you couldn't pick the same person the next year or something like that, or like your top 3 picks couldn't be the same, you know, so you had to like shuffle. No trading people, you know, nothing like that. But yeah, it was.
Could you trade picks?
Yeah. I'll trade this pick because I want the next 2 people. You know, try to double down.
So our church sort of does something like that with Planning Center. When you accept, at the end of the year, we have a volunteer party, recognition party, and you get a ticket for each time that you accept on Planning Center. And then you take those tickets and you can drop them in the prize bucket thing in front of the prize that you want. And then they do a drawing, and you have, the more you serve, the more chances you have to winning stuff. So I will say I've won something every year, but I get a lot of tickets because if I'm requested, I accept.
Yeah, I guess that's a one-night party. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I remember that. I had quite a few because
you serve Wednesdays and Sundays.
I serve every Wednesday, and then I serve 2 Sundays a month. Now down to 1 Sunday a month, maybe some point 0. Would
See,
be great.
I don't get tickets for Wednesdays because my position is an unofficial position. It's just something I started doing.
Well, technically, I should have more tickets, because when you serve on any kind of production,
right,
you're serving 2 services, but you only get 1.
Right.
But I actually think I do get double because I'm vocal and an instrument. Maybe. I don't really know how it works. But
So see, you're saying you should have 4 per Sunday?
You know, I'm just saying that the rule is come one, serve one, but we're serving all.
Both, right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's come 1 week, serve 1 week.
Or come 4 weeks, serve 4 weeks.
Yeah, but that's a way. Yeah, we weren't really gamifying, because gamifying would be what there's a winner and a loser in a sense, and there's like this ongoing thing where that is more of a
not in today's society, because everyone's a winner in today's society.
Okay, well that's a whole different thing, and
It's another podcast.
I think we already kind of have that coming up. That episode with Emma, name drop, see if she hears it. But what I was saying is like that was more of an appreciation thing. Like we didn't know that existed till we got there, and then we got all these tickets, and so
Gotcha.
okay, that
You're
exists.
right.
Where gamifying is like this constant like reminder, like the notifications. Like talk about the Bible app.
Right.
Okay, Bible app has gamified you. You know you said. Craig Rochelle said.
Yeah, so I was
about
listening to Craig Rochelle's leadership podcast, and he said one of the biggest successes has been adding the app streak to the Bible app. That has garnered more people opening up the Bible app each week, or every day. Sorry, not each week, but every single day. And he said that they can tell a significant spike from the day in which they initiated that to before. There's just a spike of overall people opening the app. And I'll tell you, it worked on me. 8 years now, over 8 years of me opening up the Bible app every single day.
Yeah, and so that has now got you to the point where 8 years, you've opened the app, and it's now become this super habit.
Yes.
That you have, and super on your mind, that has been used to like help a spiritual discipline. Like those kind of things don't help with me. Gamifying it like that doesn't usually help with me. Like Shay's really into gamifying things like that. Like there was like there's games like Animal Crossing or Pokemon Go was the same way, and there was like a Harry Potter version of Pokemon Go where they had like this weekend only stuff, and she had to do them that weekend. But once she stopped,
catch these bugs this weekend. That's right.
And they're the only time that they're available. So if you want them in your deck, you have to do it between this time frame. And there was like 1 week that she missed. Then it's like, what's the point?
Yep.
I can't re-get them. And now if you can re-get them, then that ruins the value of getting them as well.
Right.
So it's like, it's both and. And so it's like she hasn't played Animal Crossing in forever. Like she got to a point where she basically beat it and they wanted us to tear it all down again or something like that. I remember that. But it's just like that. You need that gamification to keep your mind starts wanting that. Like it wants coffee in the morning.
Absolutely.
Like it's wanting that dopamine effect.
Yeah. So she kind of does that with puzzles too, because every Thursday night she finishes a puzzle for me on Friday morning.
Yeah. It's one of those funny things because she does more than one puzzle a week. And so it but that is part of the schedule. Like, what are we doing tonight? Which was our last night conversation. And she's like, I gotta finish this puzzle. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to play video games. So it works out. All right. Well, don't have FOMO. I guess that's what we've learned today.
Yeah.
Or do, I guess. FOMO can lead to spiritual
FOMO
disciplines.
works in both ways. It can be a negative, but it can be a positive. But
I think we didn't cover too much that FOMO in basically failing at FOMO and constantly having FOMO can lead to maybe some depression and some like low value, low self-esteem stuff because you're never like a part of those conversations. But we didn't really go into that aspect of it.
Into the anxiety and stress part of it.
Yeah, that can happen. But for the most part, I think that we could utilize FOMO in the church in different ways to like kind of create that atmosphere where we're all gaining something together. Like when we all do a Bible plan together, we're all like all kind of doing this thing together for this accolade. Like all those kind of things can help.
It can, but it can also hurt. I feel we've missed a lot on this topic. And so we may have to have a part two because
I love and hate when you say part
because well, think about the app, the Read the Bible in the Year app that your wife is doing with the girls, but the other girls got so far behind your wife and they're like, all right, we're not doing this anymore.
They got so far behind my wife. They got so far behind.
Yes.
So
your wife did it daily. She is super disciplined. They weren't. So FOMO actually worked in the opposite there, where they were too much anxiety, and they're like, all right, the comparison effect essentially.
Right. It's a comparison effect, but also if you wanted to read the Bible in a year, you have to
be disciplined.
Be disciplined.
I know
it goes both and I get it, But yeah,
See, and there's another topic: reading the Bible in a year. I mean, it's especially if you're starting from fresh. Now, these girls weren't fresh. They've already been disciplined and at reading, but yeah, starting fresh and doing a Bible in a year, that is super tough.
I think where it fell apart was like the same people that
Week
tried
2?
to do.
Sorry.
I think it was when because our church also had a Bible reading plan where we did a
Yes,
40-day thing, and so that was like probably the hardest time for Shay because she still did both.
Right. And so again, I've talked about this in the past. We've talked about this. You know what? I'm not going to go on that soapbox. We're already
Yep.
well over our time.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for liking, subscribing, and clicking and sharing and doing the things.
Eventually, we'll get our other things going, and you will actually be able to link to those as well. But
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, like, what's your takes on the FOMO stuff? How can the church utilize FOMO? Would love to hear some ideas. So let us know.
take it easy.